What is up, Buckeye Nation? Florida Cory here for Ohio State Football with Scarlet and Great right here on YouTube, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. 5,000 subscribers before the season starts is our goal. Appreciate all the love and support you guys have been giving us. We'd love it a little bit more. And just kidding. Share it if you can. Comment if you can. Like the video. It helps the algorithm, helps us grow. We appreciate you guys as always. We got a special topic today. It's going to be a little interesting as we're entering fall camp, and I do have my good buddy Shane Larson joining me today. Man, I'm really happy to see Shane today. And dang it. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I'll get the guess right someday. I don't know how Johnny keeps subverting our guests, but I'm going to figure it out. He's hacking it. Johnny, I guess you're back with us. You're back from your fishing trip. I appreciate you being around. Johnny, you might have some interesting thoughts on this topic because there's a discussion going around Twitter, and we're starting to see some people turn on Ryan Day a little bit, and maybe not turn on him as much as start to question him. I think, the more I think about it, as much as who's Pantone? Are you serious? You playing with the freaking tags right now with me? Anyway,
that was accidental. That was accidental.
Sure. I know which one won't be accidental later, but
That's right.
Ryan Day, guys, obviously a very good coach. He has not reached elite status yet. I think we can all agree about that. What are the expectations, Johnny, for you for Ryan Day as he starts his fourth camp? Technically fifth, you can kind of say. In the 18, he was actually in charge. But say his fourth camp as the sole head man of the Ohio State.
That's what they call it. Introducing the 35th sole head man of the Ohio State football team.
That's right.
Urban gives him the whistle. Here you go, sole head man.
He does it every year. He just keeps giving him the whistle.
He sounds like a witch doctor.
It's just every year Urban shows up for the first day. Here's the whistle. It's like, Urban, we got it. All right, go seriously. Yeah. This was a while ago now.
The sole head man. Here's your whistle and your shrunken head. I'll take over.
We may need a witch doctor to change the defense around this year.
Yeah, don't think it wasn't considered. I have a locker room report about a shaman in the locker room at one point. So anyway,
which one is it? The fourth shaman or the third shaman?
Fourth village shaman.
What about the prophecy? Have you heard about this? There's a prophecy.
The oracle.
Yeah,
the oracle. Yeah, well, he couldn't fix last year's defense.
Dang.
Yeah. You want to know about expectations, Ryan?
I do remember
right?
Neo saying the oracle. Never mind. I'm done with that one.
Yeah. Expectations, Ryan Day. We there? Okay.
We're there. All right, we're there. My bad. Derailing
us. I will say, Cory, title or bust, basically. Title or fired. If he gets
the title game and he loses, should he be fired?
Yeah, oh yeah. If he's in a shootout with Alabama and the freaks they have, Will Anderson and what's the other kid's name? Dallas Turner. If they just happen because they're generational players, they just happen to swim move by Paris Johnson just a little bit and get a piece of CJ's ankle and knock him down on a fourth down play that was 4-ball game and we lose 32-31. He should be fired. You could make an argument for executed, but fired, certainly. No, I mean, I do think it's Tyler bust, and I mean that by they have the best chance this year. Yeah. As long as Nick Saban and Alabama exist, they have the best chance this year. You can't just say, we'll get them next year. No, because the Death Star is always down there, down south, and they're always, I feel like, playing by different rules. And Nick Saban is Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, and he's one step ahead with all this innovation in NIL. You've seen the store or whatever they created. But with this roster, man, with these coaches, with Justin Fry, with new defense that just has to be pretty good. They just have to be LSU 2019 good, can adjust a little and cause little problems. And with CJ Stroud and the kid is one of the best. He's Sam Bradford, with his arm, and he's so accurate. One of the best passing college quarterbacks you'll ever see. I think Traveyon Henderson might be the best. Yeah. I think Traveyon Henderson might be the best player on the team silently. Not even you have 3 good running backs. You have all these receivers. Cory, if the expectation is to win a title, now I will say some of us, like maybe even you, were questioning him last year. Not as am I questioning him as a head coach? Is because I'm a Ryan Day fan. What I was questioning is he's probably not perfect, and does he maybe not make his players hardened killers as much as Urban did, even though Urban had his faults too. Is that what you're also hearing? The biggest pet peeve maybe is maybe these guys, I would want Urban's guys in a dark alley in a fist fight, maybe a little more than Day's.
Maybe Urban's Florida team. I mean, I think they literally were in dark alleys and fist fights.
I mean, you set that one up. You set that one up.
Perfect. Oh gosh, I love you, brother. Anyway,
but go back to the question. You knew what I was trying to.
I mean, remember but early on in Urban's Ohio State tenure, there were questions: did we get Bruce Banner Urban rather than Hulk Urban? Because he was a different guy, he coached differently, he managed a team differently, things like that. That was the question, and then he ended up winning a title, and maybe he left a title or two on the field. 15 comes to mind.
I will say the 2012 coaching job was getting blood out of a turnip.
2012, one of the greatest coaching jobs I've ever seen in my life. Any coach, any level of sport. I mean, that was unreal. I mean, when you have to switch your fullback to exactly, you're the man, Urban. When you have to switch your fullback to be your middle linebacker in the middle of the season, it's like you're just doing what you can. Urban 2013 season not so hot just because defense was so bad. 14 was also another masterful coaching job. You have to give it to him. 15, one of the most botched seasons in Ohio State history. It just is what it is. After that, it's like you really didn't have a realistic shot at the title till 18. So, and the defense was just bad. What are you going to do? But Ryan Day this year is I won't say it's 2014 because honestly, maybe with a healthy Braxton Miller, we would have expected to compete for a national title. But when he went down and we knew JT Barrett was starting, even before anybody had an opinion on JT Barrett, we were like, okay, freshman quarterback, let's just be real. This season's kind of a throwaway. Ended up not being that way. But this year, you have an experienced quarterback, an experienced running game. I mean, with Maya Williams and Traveyon Henderson, even Evan Pryor showing promise, but he's not experienced. You have an offensive line with the makings of a very good offensive line that doesn't have 4 tackles starting. And you have a lot of experience. Luke Whippler, experienced center. Paris Johnson, we'll see how he adjusts to left tackle, but at least he came from high school as a left tackle, right? So it's not completely foreign to him. Donovan Jaxon, a 5-star stud. DeJuan Jones, a stud at right tackle. Obviously Matt Jones has been around a program forever, and he's shown at times shown really good talent. And you just need, like you said, the defense to be pretty good. The talent is there to be a good. I actually maintain Knowles can have a Hafley-like season in his first year. Because I think Cam Brown is a stud. I think Denzel Burke is a stud. I think Jordan Hancock and Jalen Johnson behind them are studs. Josh Proctor is back if he can stay healthy. Lathan Ransom is somehow miraculously back already. You got Court Williams, who's a nice player. Cam Martinez in the slot with Tanner McAllister, who knows the defense in and out. It was an all Big 12 player. Linebackers, you might say, are a little weak, but Steele Chambers is no slouch. He played pretty well last year in a poor defense. Tommy Eichenberg finished the season strong last year. Then you got guys like CJ Hicks and Gabe Powers behind him with Cody Simon and Chip Traynor. The talent is there. Zach Harrison, Jack Sawyer, JTT, Mike Hall, Talik Williams, Terran Vincent, Jerron Cage. There's a ton of talent on this defense, man. I know exactly. I know why you're laughing. I know exactly why you're.
I didn't know what you were doing. I was like, is he going to name the whole squad?
Yeah, because I'm pumped because there's a ton of talent there. This isn't a.
The question was, is Urban maybe a little more hard-nosed than Ryan Day?
Yeah, I just went off the rails, didn't I?
I'll tell you, everybody on the roster.
Anyway, to finish the long-winded answer, there's a talent is there. This is the year he has to do it. So if he doesn't do it, then the questions have to arise. Like, do you just not toughen your players enough? I've lost Johnny.
Who all plays safety for Ohio State?
I'm going to buy all their jerseys. So anyway. Oh,
okay.
Man. All right.
So if they don't win, you might maybe say Ryan Day doesn't get blood out of a turnip. He doesn't.
I think
crush these guys like they need to be crushed.
The problem is the coaches are in place. We have the proven coaching. Urban hired Ed Warner and blow the 15 season with arguably more talent on that team than there is in this one. So maybe outside.
Would it be different? I think it'd be for different reasons though. We would say Urban botched a championship team by putting people in place who didn't need to be there. Is Day potentially going to botch a championship team by not being hard-nosed enough?
I think
that's the question most fans would ask.
Well, I mean, how do you gauge that? I mean, last year they lost.
You do YouTube shows about it, yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Last year they did lose their legs late in the season, and they also got pushed around by the team up north. That's obvious. They got manhandled by the team up north. I think if you come into this season, yes, he has to prove that they can go in and do. If he can bring 2019's offense back, which I think he's trying to do with Justin Fry, that power run game, and we push people around with that offensive line. I see Justin Fry even said up front, I wanted everybody in the stadium to know what we're doing on 3rd and 1, and we still get it.
I'm thinking 2019 Ryan Day was a little bit hard-nosed because you remember the quote before the Clemson game? Let them feel our violence.
Yeah. Not hug your brother. I mean, it's like,
I literally just got cold chills saying that. That is.
I actually liked it when 2000. I think it was 20 when we revenged the Clemson game where he says, "I don't give a bleep if it's Clemson, Bama, Notre Dame, who it is. We're gonna kick their." I mean,
and Zach has said before that Ryan is more in touch with the kids, but he is a hard-nosed guy. Let me ask you this: do you think it was hard to be hard-nosed last year because a couple things? You come into the season, you're reeling from the COVID, not the pandemic as much as, well, the pandemic, the navigating of it, okay? Losing the season, getting crap kicked out of your national championship game, knowing you probably need new defensive staff, but can't quite get it done, having to switch who's in charge through 2 games in, taking a loss on national television. Oh, and by the way, Cory, one of your players comes to you before the season and says, "Hey, coach, I'm going to kill myself." And you have these battles in your family history. Is it possible that maybe making these guys super tough wasn't priority number 1, 2, or 3 at that point?
Well, I think the team was also extremely young. You have to look at it that way. I mean, look who led our backfield: a redshirt freshman quarterback and basically a freshman running back with 4 tackles on the offensive line. I don't think toughness was in our DNA.
Are you going to go list the roster again?
Yes. Yeah, let me get it out real quick. Anyway, it's like reading the phone book on YouTube. No, but I mean, like that. I think the setup was not so that you could just we were going to be pass happy. When you're a pass happy team with a terrible defense, you're not going to be tough by definition. Let's be real there. And what did Ryan Day say in media days? He says, we got to start with stopping the run. You ain't stopping the run unless you're a tough, hard-nosed team. I think he understands that. And I say that with the addition of Justin Fry trying to get that power run game back like we had it. I think you're looking at a coach who's saying we need to understand we need to balance and run the ball hard, like with J.K. Dobbins in 19, which is one of the best running attacks I've ever seen Ohio State ever have. And then we need to, and then towards the end of the season with Trey Sermon, I mean, you want to talk about how we gritted out a win against Northwestern, who was actually just beating us up that game. And then we beat the crap out of Clemson, in part because Justin Fields was amazing. But why? Because Trey Sermon's running all over him again. And what took us out of our game plan against Bama? Not saying we would have won, but Trey Sermon getting hurt first play didn't help. When our run game is working, everything else works better. So even our defense was a little better against Clemson than normal, the defense against Northwestern was still pretty good. Justin Hilliard had one of the best games the linebackers had. But I still think that through Ryan Day, 2019 proves anything, how dominant that team was. Everything goes through the run game. When I maintain in that game against Clemson, what turned it around was J.K. Dobbins getting hurt, not Sean Wade getting ejected. So, because our run game stalled completely. I think Ryan Day is recognizing to be a tough, hard-nosed Big Ten football team. Yes, a pass attack is important, but you got to have that power run game, and you got to be able to stop the run. And I think that's why we see new defensive staff and we see Justin Fry here, is to completely change the culture of what our team was becoming with CJ Stroud throwing the ball 50, 60 times a game.
So it's possible the X's and O's actually solve every question about toughness. Oh, they seem a lot tougher. No, offensive line just mows people down better.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
but you will seem tougher.
Well, what deflates a team more than anything is when you're able to run the ball on them, so.
Yeah.
I mean, Michigan wasn't more talented than we were last year, but they sure were tougher because they could run it down our throat. So.
Yeah, I mean, at least perception-wise, right? At least perception-wise. If you stop the run, you seem and last year, I know people demanded like Ryan Day run the ball more, and I'm like, guys, we can't. I mean, okay. Like don't give the ball to Garrett Wilson. Don't do it. Freaking ram into the line of scrimmage.
Let's
with
do the
stretch run play there. Yeah.
Run. And then of course second half he comes out, runs 3 times in a row, gets stuffed, and it's like, okay, that worked well.
Yeah, and exactly. And the one play was a great call on like second and long that would have gashed the defense. Lineman falls down. Like, okay, we just can't do it. We just can't do it. Like,
which is part of the reason why you see Stud not here anymore and Justin Fry now here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Cory, I think that's a pretty good wrap up. I think toughness will be shown, or at least perceived, if you can run and stop the run. And all these questions do get answered. And maybe we might not ever know who's the tough, who's the alpha male, who's John Wayne of the two, Urban or Day. But it doesn't matter, right? The results on the field. That's all we really want to know. Real quick, we put this at the beginning of the show, Cory. I do want to know where people are watching from. I just think that's kind of cool, right? So comment where you're watching from. And, we always are here to make the world a better place. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. Sorry I haven't been around in a while. I know you're not. But
that's why the Bengals
here to make the
world away.
Yeah, because that was not pass interference. Anyways, I'll let Cory take us out of here. It's his show. I'm just a guest. Thank you for having me on your show, Cory.
Anyway, guys. Oh, gosh. 5,000 subscribers we're trying to get to before the season. Please subscribe to the channel, unless you just hate Johnny and you hate me for being a racist. I totally understand. Like the video. We're totally getting canceled. Like the video. Comment where you're from. Comment where you're watching from. Comment what your expectations are for this season. I'm also agreeing with Johnny on the Tyler bust this year. I'm not saying you should get fired, but Tyler bust this year. Executed maybe, but not fired. Let him keep his job.
Let him go out with his dignity.
So anyway. So guys, appreciate you guys as always. Goodbye. God bless. And go Bucks.